Hey everyone, welcome to Man Cave Insider episode 5. My name is Dennis Clark. Thank you very much for joining. We really appreciate it. If you like what you see and want to see past and future episodes, make sure you subscribe to our channel. We are here in my man cave, and this room is surrounded with things that I've collected my entire life, and there's stories behind them, there's meaning behind them. And the way each episode is decided is not by me. My 10-year-old daughter comes in here, she hands me something. That is the topic of the episode. Today's episode, we are going to be talking about the TV show ER. As you can see, I have all 15 seasons of the show on DVD. I'm that guy. This is one of my favorite shows of all time. And this set has 84 discs, 331 episodes. The show aired from 1994 to 2009. It won 23 Emmy Awards and was nominated for 124 Emmy Awards. There's only 2 shows in television history that have more nominations: Game of Thrones and Saturday Night Live. Now, ER originally started out as a feature film written by Michael Crichton about a hospital in Chicago and the doctors, nurses, and surgeons dealing with life in an inner city emergency room. He wrote the script and it sat around for about 15 years. And then it got the attention of Steven Spielberg, who was going to direct ER, the movie. As he was developing the movie, he was having a conversation with Michael Crichton and asked him what else he was working on. And he said, well, I'm writing a book about dinosaurs and about how DNA can bring dinosaurs back to contemporary times. You say something like that to Steven Spielberg, he's going to listen. He dropped ER and then pursued that project, which eventually was Jurassic Park. So, if there was no ER, there would be no Jurassic Park. However, he decided that this would work as a television show, so he passed it along to the television department of his film company, hired John Wells to be the runner of the show. It got picked up by NBC and it aired in September of 1994. That same week, CBS was airing another medical drama called Chicago Hope, produced by David E. Kelley. Many people thought that Chicago Hope was going to be the next big thing. However, the response and ratings from ER from day one propelled it into one of the top shows of the time and of all time. The cast of the show for the first season was Anthony Edwards, George Clooney, Noah Wyle, Sherry Stringfield, Juliana Margulies, and Eric LaSalle. This show is also credited for making George Clooney the international movie star that we know. After the first season aired, Clooney made a movie called From Dusk Till Dawn, which was written by Quentin Tarantino and directed by Robert Rodriguez. Also starred Harvey Keitel and Juliette Lewis. The response for the movie was tremendous, and Clooney was a bona fide movie star. And every interview that George Clooney did for this movie and any other movie always asked him, when are you going to leave ER and make movies full time? Now, to his credit, George Clooney said, I have a 5-year contract, which I'm going to honor. I love making the show. I love the people I work with. And after the 5 years, if they ever want me to come back and do a guest spot, that's what I'm going to do. There's several episodes that are very famous of the 331. There was an episode in season 1 called Love Labor's Lost, about Dr. Green trying to save a woman who was giving birth. There's an episode in season 2 called Hell or High Water, where the goal of the producers had was to make George Clooney an action star. And his character was saving a young kid who was drowning in a sword during a flood. There's an episode in season 6 called All in the Family, where 2 doctors were stabbed by a psychotic patient, and one of the doctors, played by Kelly Martin, wound up dying during the show. The show was so popular that they even made a video game of the show for the PC. The video game featured Noah Wyle, Mekhi Phifer, and Sherry Stringfield playing the same characters on the show, and the premise of the game was a medical student interacting with the doctors and patients of the hospital. The game was actually had the dialogue written by a friend of mine, John Deaver, who I've known since I was 9 years old. I actually had a chance to visit parts of the set of ER. In 1997, I was working on a Warner Brothers lot in the store. And a friend of mine was driving us around the lot on a golf cart, and we actually went into the ambulance bay. And it had the outside exterior of the L train. It had Doc Magoo's across the street. And what was really interesting about it was, and you don't see it on TV, is you see the doors of the ambulance bay where they bring people into the hospital. That was on one side of the lot. On the other side of the lot is where they come in through the doors, and that's where they had the entire set for the hospital. During its 10th season, Noah Wiley's character, John Carter, left the show. He was the last remaining original cast member. Now, the show still went on for 5 years after that, and there had been many cast changes throughout. And there was a lot of very prominent actors who served as cast members of the show at one point or another. There was Mekhi Phifer, Maura Tierney, Shane West, John Stamos, Scott Grimes, Angela Bassett, Linda Cardellini, and many others. And also in 331 episodes, it had many guest stars. And what a lot of people may not realize is a lot of actors were on the show before they became well known. Ewan McGregor, Chris Pine, Shia LaBeouf, Kirsten Dunst, even Zac Efron before High School Musical was on the show. And it also had a tremendous list of prominent actors who were guest stars. Susan Sarandon, James Woods, Jim Belushi, Alan Alda, Sally Field, John Leguizamo, Red Buttons, Bob Newhart, just to name a few. During the 14th year, there was speculation that the show was going to end. However, there was a writer's strike during this year, and ER and many other shows wound up having shorter seasons. So it was decided that they were going to do one more season, that the 15th season was going to be the final season of the show. Throughout the season, they had all of the original cast members come back and make appearances. Anthony Edwards' character, Mark Green, died in season 8. However, he came back in an episode that aired in November in a flashback episode that dealt with Angela Bassett's character dealing with a current case while reflecting on a similar case that she had when Dr. Green was at the hospital. Everyone kept wondering that if George Clooney would make a return to the show, and they were being very quiet about that. However, pictures leaked of George Clooney on the Warner Brothers lot in his hospital scrubs, so the word got out that he was going to be returning for the show for an episode. But to Warner Brothers' credit, they kept very quiet about it, and the episode that he was on was not advertised that George Clooney returns to ER. He just happened to appear on the episode along with Juliana Margulies and Eric LaSalle. Another interesting thing with George Clooney, shows you how much, how important the show was to him. When Juliana Margulies left the show in season 6, her character decided that she wanted to be with Clooney's character, Doug Ross, who left the show the previous year. They had been dating, they had been engaged, they had twin girls. So she decided that she wanted to be with Doug Ross. She got on a plane, she went out to Seattle where he was living. She arrived at his place, went around the backyard, and had the happy ending, the reuniting with her and Doug Ross, and George Clooney came back for that episode. What a lot of people don't know is it was a complete secret. Not even the cast knew that George Clooney was going to be on the episode, aside from only a few people. NBC didn't find out that George Clooney was going to be on that episode until 2 days before it aired. So, the last episode aired in May of 1994. It was a 2-hour episode. It also had other characters returning for that episode. Noah Wiley made an appearance in 5 episodes in that last season. Eric LaSalle, Alex Kingston, Laura Innes, Sherry Stringfield all returned, and the episode centered around John Carter's character, who started out as a medical student in the first season, was now a full-fledged doctor, and he was opening up a medical center in Chicago. So, that is it for this episode. If you are interested in owning the series, you can buy it as a complete set, and I'm going to put the link on the description down below. Or if you want to do what I did and collect these season by season, I'm also going to put the links for all of the seasons. So I hope you enjoy this. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you can see past and future episodes. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Man Cave Insider. Have a great day.